and welcome. It's time to look at section 4 of the strawberries and cream blanket, which is this lovely green section here. This is often called the griddle stitch or the lemon peel stitch, and it's lovely and easy. And then we, as always, we follow it with our intersection rows here. And so if you've missed sections 3, 2 and 1, just pop back and find the videos for those, and then when you're ready, we'll see you here for section 4. If you haven't met me before, I'm Hannah from Afghan Crochet, and I'm delighted to meet you and work on this blanket with you. We are running a crochet along in July 2022, but if it's not that time anymore, then please don't worry. I'll put links in the description for where you can find the free version of the pattern, where you can purchase a PDF to download, and where you can also purchase the entire thing as a course. So have a little look down below, see which option suits you best, and let's get going. Okay, so now we're ready to start section 4, and it's this green section that you see here, and it's nice and easy in terms of colour changes because we're going to just work one colour per row. And the way that we get this really textured appearance here is by working different heights of stitches in alternate stitches. So you might hear this stitch referred to as a lemon peel stitch, or it might be called a griddle stitch. There are a few different names for it. But I just love the texture that it gives, and it looks like colour work without actually being colour work because you're not working on top or over the top of anything like we have in the other ones. You literally are just working different heights of stitches to make them look like they slot into each other. So now that we've done our intersection part after section 3, we need to get our colours ready, and so we're going to be using yarn B and yarn D for this section. So grab your kit and let's go. Okay, so to begin section 4, we need to complete the last stitch of the intersection panel with our new colour. So we're going to begin with yarn D, and you're going to turn ready to work the first row of this, which in the pattern is row 58, and we're going to chain 1. And then we just need a sequence of 2 stitches here. Now, I don't want to confuse anyone by doing lots of different US and UKs and this, that and the rest. So I'll say it at the beginning and then we'll give them a code, shall we? So we are going to work sequences in US terms of a single crochet in the first stitch and then a double crochet in the next stitch. So if you're using UK terms, you're going to work a double crochet and then a treble crochet. So make sure you know which version you're doing in the pattern. But what it looks like is this, whichever terminology you're using. You're going to do the shorter of the 2 stitches here, so straight through with no yarn over. Then we yarn over and pull through 2. And then we're going to yarn over before we put into the stitch. You're going to go through the stitch and yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. They're the 2 stitches that we need, and all we're going to do is repeat those 2 in sequence across this row. So we're going to do the shorter stitch here. So in US terms that's a single crochet, in UK terms it's a double crochet, and then you're going to do the taller of the 2 stitches in the next stitch. So a UK treble or a US double crochet. And all we do is carry on doing those 2 stitches all the way along the row. So our short stitch and our tall stitch, our short stitch and our tall stitch. Carry on all the way to the end, just remembering that it is a bit trickier on these rows that join. The first row of each section works into the intersection panel, and that is a bit trickier, so just watch out for those chains and make sure that you're doing catching every single stitch that you need. And for this stitch repeat, because it's only a repeat of 2, we're going to finish the end of the row on the taller stitch. So just carry on to the end of the row, and then we'll be ready to change colour. And then the last stitch we don't complete, and we're going to change colour. Now you'll notice I've got a short end here already because I started filming this and then realised that I had my colour sequence completely wrong. So in the interest of honesty and to show you that, goodness me, if you get your colours muddled up, it's absolutely not something that I haven't done before. I did, and I didn't realise until I nearly finished this section. So make sure, I think that's probably a good point to make there, isn't it? To go through the pattern maybe with a highlighter, or tick off as you go, or some kind of checking system for yourself to know that you're using the right colour sequence, because you'll see in the images of the blanket it's symmetrical, and the pattern, the colour sequence, repeats itself in the opposite side of the blanket. So if you go, you just need to make it match, basically. If you make a mistake in one half, make the same mistake in the other half, and tell everyone you meant to do it, hey? So now we're ready for our second row of section 4, and we are going to do exactly the same. It's the same repeat. We're going to do a short stitch followed by a tall stitch. So here we are with our US single crochet and our US double crochet, which in UK terms is a UK double crochet and a UK treble. And what you'll notice here is that the shorter stitch sits on top of a taller stitch from the row before, and the taller stitch sits on top of the shorter stitch. And what that does is just it helps create a nice even height for the two stitches, the two rows together. And it helps bring out the texture as well. It just looks really lovely because you've got these stitches sitting on top of each other. And the taller stitches are squished in a bit, and it gives it such a lovely texture. So yeah, just carry on again. This is another part of the blanket that's a lovely, nice, easy one to fly through whilst you're watching something or listening to something, or even just sitting chatting, because there's no counting. You just, once you get the rhythm of those two stitches, you really won't need to think about them. I would just do a halfway, especially when you're making the blanket itself, halfway through your row, perhaps just check that you haven't come off kilter with your stitch repeat. So make sure that your tall stitch goes into a short stitch and vice versa, because you don't want to get to the end of the row and then have to work back and figure out where it is you've added the wrong height of stitch. And there we have that section. You just keep repeating that row, alternating colours. So now I'm ready to change again, and you do exactly the same. And we're going to go from row 58 through to row 67 for this one. And then after that, you're going to work your 2 rows of your intersection pattern. And then we'll be ready for section 5.